This video was brought to you by Green Man Gaming. Check the link below to see some awesome deals on some incredible games. There are a lot of amazing games out there.
Is this it? This is taking a really long time.
You have no patience.
You know, like 10 out of 10 life-changing experience type games, like a certain game that I don't talk about very often on the channel. But none of these games are immune to awful, horrible sections that you absolutely dread every time you play through them. I'm just going to cut to the chase here. I'm going to be talking about some of those sections in this video today. Sections that I absolutely despise going through on replays. That's why the first game I'm going to be talking about is The Evil Within. Specifically, Chapter 12 of The Evil Within, because I don't even know what this chapter even is. It's the most filler, pointless chapter ever created. So, from Chapter 11 to Chapter 15, you're in the city making your way towards Beacon Mental Hospital, where everything started. And as an excuse for you to get through a lot of the city, Chapter 12 has you spending a majority of it on a bus. A bus that you can't really do much on apart from shoot a giant weird spider that has a tube that lets it eat its own feces, and a bunch of random haunted in a room where a building's on fire, and I don't know, man. It doesn't feel very well made. I hate to admit it. I love The Evil Within, but this chapter is just terrible. You get a small bit of relief when Joseph gets shot and you can actually leave the bus to look for a med kit, but then you get this section where a car with a Gatling gun appears and then you can get on that Gatling gun and mow down a bunch of haunted. I think it's stupid. Some people like this stuff, but I don't know. I feel like this is kind of where The Evil Within jumps the shark a bit, which says a lot because this is a game that is taking place in a fucking simulation. So yeah, Chapter 12, it's not very good. It's kind of terrible. It's a good thing that Chapter 13 is really good though, taking place in claustrophobic apartment blocks with like acid traps and the keeper makes a return. But yeah, the only saving grace of Chapter 12 is it's the shortest chapter in the game, but it's easily the worst, and I fucking hate going through it. The next game I want to talk about is Dark Souls. Specifically Dark Souls 1, and you already know what this one is. It's Lost Izalith. So I'm kind of a bit of a defender for the second half of Dark Souls 1. I like the Duke's Archives, I like New Londo Ruins, I even like Tomb of the Giants. Right, I've memorized Tomb of the Giants. I can run through that place without even turning on a skull lantern. I can run through it in pitch black. I've memorized the layout of it. I can get through that shit. I can't excuse Lost Izalith though, and I don't think the developers can even excuse Lost Izalith because it's infamous. It's infamous because they had no time to finish it, and it is blatantly obvious because there is just a bunch of dragon butts scattered around a big lava lake with no level design. There is absolutely no level design here. It's just a massive lake with a bunch of dragon butts that do a fuckload of damage to you. And then the ruins by Lost Izalith feel very barren. They feel like really big environments with nothing in them. Kind of like the entirety of Dark Souls 2, if I'm gonna be honest. Maybe Lost Izalith was the inspiration for Dark Souls 2. And then the cherry on top of the shit cake is the Bed of Chaos. I don't even need to go into why the Bed of Chaos is bad. Everyone knows why the Bed of Chaos is bad. It is one of the worst boss fights in gaming history, honestly. Fuck this thing. I love Dark Souls 1. It's my favorite one, but I can't deal with Lost Izalith. I can't put myself through that shit again. The next game I want to talk about is Devil May Cry 3. I love Devil May Cry 3. I'm actually working on a main channel video on Devil May Cry 3, so make sure to subscribe for that. I already have a video on Devil May Cry 1 and 2, so yeah, I have a lot to say about Devil May Cry 3 because, well, it's my favorite one. But Chapter 15, good lord, Chapter 15 is not good. So, Devil May Cry 3 takes place in this giant labyrinthian tower, and Chapter 15 kind of just goes, let's reuse all of it and have the player rotate the entire thing and get completely lost in it. And we'll have enemies respawning constantly, but we'll specifically do the most annoying enemies respawning. Go fuck yourself, have fun, bye bye. If you don't know what you're doing, you can end up spending the most amount of time on this mission just getting completely lost. You have to find 3 amulets within these different areas of the tower to put them in this big pillar, and that's the whole thing. That's the whole chapter. There's no boss fight. We get introduced to these horrifically annoying angel enemies dies at the start of the mission, so that's another cherry on top of the shit-covered cake. It is an awful mission, but honestly, it's not the worst thing ever because you are still playing Devil May Cry 3 at the end of the day, so, you know, it plays incredibly well. And the environments and art design are just top-notch. I love how this game looks, so I can't complain too much, but yeah, it is easily one of the weakest missions in the entire game, and I don't really like going through it. But it's nowhere near as bad as a mission within Devil May Cry 1. Now, the mission I'm talking about specifically is a gimmick mission. It only lasts about 2 minutes, but within those 2 minutes, it fucks you up. If you have motion sickness, I'm giving you a warning right now. Skip to this timestamp to move a bit further into the video. You've been warned. The swimming section on the boat in Devil May Cry 1 is the worst thing I've ever played. It is so bad. It controls like shit. It looks like shit. It's in first person for some fuck-ass reason, and it's just awful. It's horrible. I don't even know what to say. It fucking sucks. I hate it. It's genuinely one of the worst things I've ever played in my entire life. On repeat playthroughs of Devil May Cry 1, I dread this mission, but it's only 2 minutes long, so I guess I can't complain that much about it, and I don't suffer from motion sickness myself, but it still gives me a bit of a headache. The next game I want to talk about is Doom Eternal. Now, you're probably wondering, what could be awful about Doom Eternal? Like, it is one of the best first-person shooters ever made. Well, the most awful part of Doom Eternal is the mission where you're not really playing the game. And I'm talking about Sentinel Prime here. The mission where you just walk, you get a bunch of lore, you get characters talking to you, and then you get a mediocre boss fight at the end with the gladiator. That's the whole mission. It says a lot about Doom Eternal, though, that the worst part of it is the part where you're not playing the game because it is just so good. But yeah, that's the worst part of Doom Eternal. Fuck that mission. I hate playing through that mission. It's just really boring. I guess on a first playthrough, it's kind of cool. You get a bit of lore, but it doesn't really help that the lore of Doom Eternal is kind of stupid. There's also some really cringe scenes in this bit where the Doomslayer says like proper like Reddit quotes. Yes, it's not good. It brings Doom Eternal down a bit, but it's still my favorite first-person shooter ever made, so yeah, I can't complain too much. The next game I want to talk about is Resident Evil 7. Another absolutely incredible game, but this section I'm about to talk about is so bad that I don't even play past it when I play the game. I have a headcanon that it ends just before it, but I'm talking about the boat in Resident Evil 7. And if you've played the game, you know exactly why. It is the most dull area in the entire game. It is frustrating. It is boring. You play through it as Mia for some reason when I want to play as Ethan, right? I like Ethan. I like his silly, dry humor. I like how much of a normal nobody he is, despite the fact he's infected with the black mold virus, but yeah, this section just ain't it. Just boat sections in general in horror games are so boring. Like the entirety of Resident Evil Revelations. I like Revelations 1, but like the setting of that game is so boring. Boats are boring, man. I don't know what to tell you. They're just not that interesting. And Resident Evil 7 is no exception. It doesn't help as well that right after this we get the salt mines, which aren't much better. It's a good thing that everything building up to this point before is like top tier horror game shit, but the game ends before this. This is a fan fiction section. It doesn't actually happen. That's how the game ends. So yeah, that's some awful moments in games that I personally love, but you know, if you love something enough, you're able to critique it. Some of these were incredibly easy to critique because some of these sections were just absolutely fucking horrific, and I wouldn't wish them upon my worst enemy. But I hope you enjoyed watching. I don't know what else to say. I know you're expecting me to talk about the evil within here, but what am I talking about? I literally have an entire section dedicated to it. But anyway, I just want to end this section off by thanking Green Man Gaming. They are an incredible third-party storefront full of PC games that go on incredibly low discounts. They're actually more generous than Steam with a lot of the discounts as well. Like, there are even discounts on games you can pre-order that aren't even out yet. It's pretty good. I really recommend Green Man Gaming. There'll be a link below to the storefront if you want to check it out for yourself. They do very frequent sales, so, you know, The Evil Within might be on sale. You know, you could get it for like £4. But anyway, time to thank my Patreon supporters. That being Nintendo Pro, Profit, Pitstab, Bouncer Storm Productions, and Daniel Levchenko. And a huge thank you to my channel members. That being Rattle Jake Snake, Eteria Sigma, Cheezer9530, Rec12748, Quack29, Randomness7550, Platesfly8362, Liam Talks About, Chowder1326, OllieCuz1, Marshallah4566, Marcus Platts, Joshua Whitford 5509, Evan Underhill 2342, Bidu Fadoom, Gabriel Padro 5589, Scary 1407, Eggy 613, Wentel, Riff King 66, Dizrays 3250, Sobitax, Andrea Stewart 8871, Galaxy 11243, Glusky 36, Floaty 38, Wolfborn TV, Rust on Wood, L Hayes 117, also known as some balding guy rambling into the void, Griefgar, and Resistance Lion. I can't thank you guys enough for supporting me, genuinely. It means so much to me. I love doing this. I love making this content. And of course, I will see you all in the next one.